Hello, listeners. I'm Timstradamus, and I burned my mouth really bad drinking some hot cocoa last night.
Oh, but was the orchard so much fun to go to?
We have a local family orchard near us, and it's been steadily growing like every year since we've been here.
Oh, yeah. They were actually able to pave their little parking lot that used to just be like just dirt mound. I was really impressed.
Now
and then they got the new awning.
The attraction of our town, honestly. But we were on a hayride
Oh, my goodness.
through their orchard last night, and one of the wheels popped on the trailer, and so basically for the next mile and a half of, I don't know, maybe like 20 people were bouncing up and down because one of the wheels were flat,
Including us.
yeah. It was a nice
It was
night,
a very exciting hayride.
but probably one of the more prettier places where we live.
Oh, yes, definitely. They take care of their orchard quite nicely.
As you can tell, joining me as always is my talented and beautiful co-hostess, Voyse.
Good morning, Timstradamus, and welcome to all of our snow angels and elves out there. I have, I think, a pretty funny joke for you. So let's go into it, right? What happens to Christmas trees on Valentine's Day?
I mean, they should either be put away by now or
Don't.
recycled.
Don't, because there's plenty of people that probably keep their trees up till March. I knew one person that did.
Who?
It was actually an ex-coworker.
Okay, I'm like, no one we know.
Nobody
does
that we know, but I was so shocked when I walked into their place.
There are people in our neighborhood that keep their wreaths up
All year round.
all year.
Oh, yeah, it drives Timstradamus insane.
It is your life and your house, so I don't mind, but take it down.
I think the problem is it's always the Christmas wreath that stays up. It's not like a seasonal wreath that they put up for every season or
It's
a
straight
holiday.
up Christmas. And one time, I remember saying that to you on a walk, and then a couple of days later, they took it down.
And then they must have known.
And then like a week later, they put it right back up.
They had to clean it.
I think they're just trolling me.
Probably. Well, back to our joke. What happens to Christmas trees on Valentine's Day? Well, they get all sappy. Ugh.
Oh, okay, because they start.
Because it's the month of love.
Got you. Okay. Lame.
Welcome to all of our new listeners and, of course, our regulars to Am I Overreacting? Where we unwrap the gift of drama one story at a time. Grab your tea or cocoa, hang your stockings, and settle in as we decide who's naughty, nice, or just over the top. Let the festive chaos begin. Well, as our listeners are aware, because you've enjoyed some hot cocoa at our favorite orchard place, we got their amazing apple cider. And it might not be a mystery drink for you. It is a mystery drink for our listeners. So why don't you go ahead and take a sip and explain to them the flavors that will dance around your mouth?
That's good.
Wow.
Honestly, it is fantastic. This is probably one of my more favorite apple cider.
Oh, yes.
And they make it there at the orchard.
So good. On top of that, we have another little place that's just down the street, which takes care of rescued animals. And they have a berry apple cider that is just amazing as well. I look forward to visiting them soon, too.
They kind of got a little bit of a rivalry going on with the orchard. It's really funny listening to the older gentlemen bad talk each other that own the property.
Their pumpkins aren't fresh. They plant them.
They're not the real stuff. Get the real stuff over here.
Regardless, I love both of them. They have their cute little intricacies and they are very much a part of our community.
Oh, 100%. Without them, it's a lot more dull around where we live.
Well, while you go ahead and enjoy your apple cider for the season, why don't we go ahead and delve into these stories? For any of our listeners wanting to follow along, all store links are in the description below. You always do that like a second too soon.
Yep.
For our first story, am I overreacting? My boyfriend is upset at how I'm handling my period. We were supposed to work together today, but I'm having bad pains. I'm not sure if I'm just being a baby on my period. I know I'm very sensitive. Well, Timstradamus, we have some text to read together.
I apologize for the last week's. I will get better at reading these things and not sounding like a robot.
You'll get into the groove. So you can go ahead and read the gray ones. I will read the blue ones.
Gotcha.
You first.
Let's go. You know I was excited to work with you and we haven't even been in. It's upsetting.
I'm not feeling good today, but I've been trying. I feel like we've been having a good day together.
Been waiting for this. Was hella excited, you know that. And I've been very okay not being in store, so it would be nice if we could try.
I was too. It's not my fault I don't feel good.
But you're not trying to come help. Never mind, you don't get it.
I'm in pain. You try walking around like this. We've been joking. We've been having fun.
But you don't just sit in your car for a week when you're on your period. You'll go in and try. I was supposed to do really good today. I was beyond excited to be in the store with you, and you know that. Again, never mind. You don't get it.
You don't know what this feels like. My first 2 days are always the worst. I said yesterday I was in the bathroom so much because of how upset my stomach was, and it's acting up again today.
I was just excited to be with you, and you were barely in. That's how I feel. Sorry if I can't express that to you without you getting defensive. What does that mean?
I have no idea, but let's keep going. I've been putting in a lot of effort into us having a good day. I thought we were having fun. You don't know how hard it is to put this pain aside and still joke around. I'm not defensive. I'm trying to explain this to you.
Stop trying to explain and listen and understand for once. I've told you that so many times.
I'm in pain, and yet I'm trying to stay positive.
Is it just today? It's never stopped you from working full days, especially with me. I was excited as fuck.
Yes, it has.
We were supposed to crush it every day?
I can't control it. What do you mean?
I was excited, and we spent maybe an hour in here? 2, sorry. That's all I have to say. You can ignore what I'm saying like usual.
You're ignoring my pain right now.
Stop trying to explain and listen and understand. Laughing my ass off. Holy fuck. I haven't been. I've heard your pain loud and clear. That's why we've been in the car all day. And this conversation isn't about your pain. It's about me and how I'm feeling. You can't understand that, or you don't want to. I don't know, but once again, you're neglecting what I'm saying and expressing to try and make it seem like I'm in the wrong.
I get that you wanted to work together, and I did too. I was excited too, and still am. I'm still trying to have fun with you and joke together. I know you want me to go in, but it hurts more when I'm walking around, and I thought we were still having a good time. This is something I can't control, but I'm still trying to make the best of it.
Okay, I really, really hope you listen and read this because I've said it so many times now. Stop trying to turn it on me when I bring something up I dislike. Oh, well, you're ignoring my pain. Like what? This has nothing to do with that. I told you I was upset and you get defensive as fuck. A sorry you're right would be amazing. And that goes for every time I come to you and tell you I'm upset. You do not listen or understand it. You never apologize, even if you think you're right. You continually try to switch it on me. Never actually listen to me. Get mad because I never listen to you? But when OP, I've told you so many things that upset me, and I promise you can't name 3. It's getting annoying that it's never a sorry I understand. It's always, oh, but you do that and you do this. Like try to help when I'm upset. You don't. You make it so much worse. Really pisses me off that you said I'm ignoring your pain. Like fuck. Trying to change it up and get mad at me because I'm upset that we couldn't spend the day working and helping me.
So, what do you think of ROP?
Did they say their ages?
They didn't say their ages.
They sound young and very self-absorbed. I don't know for a fact how their relationship goes, but based off of their interactions together, he's unwilling to see that when someone's in pain, that really is the stop and go of a conversation. If she can't go, she can't go. Her having to explain to you why she can't do something because she's on her period is interesting. And if you can't just accept the reality of that, that really is a you problem. Stand your ground, because if he can't respect that you have limitations during your period or ever, that's a problem. He made that whole situation about himself. I never heard anywhere where he's like, hey, how are you doing? It sounds more like he's trying to poke holes to make it fit in the narrative that you just didn't care enough to come and work with him.
But she did. It was only for a couple hours because that was his complaint, was that it was only for a couple hours. And the majority of the time she was, I guess, in the car, probably in pain, dealing with awful cramps from the sounds of it. Because there are just some women that unfortunately, your periods, man, Tom's not nice to y'all.
One of my sisters had it really bad when we were younger. It debilitated her where she could basically not even get out of the bed. And those are things I had to learn through them. So it gave me perspective on, it's not just something that people say. Voyse is very lucky. Hers are not anywhere near as bad as I've seen other folks. So
no, but even then I've still had my points for, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 minutes where it gets really bad and I have to literally stop what we're doing because the pain is almost to the point where you start tunneling and you feel really lightheaded. And then for me, like I said, I'm just lucky. It just passes quickly. But for some women, they deal with that type of pain for days.
I can understand having your feelings and talking to your partners. It's important to do that. Hey, look, I was a little hurt that we couldn't spend as much time together, but I understand that what you're going through kind of prohibited that. That's a real easy way to open up that conversation. What you should be doing is just understanding where someone says my limitations are here and not making them feel bad that they can't do what you want them to do. So no, OP, you would not be overreacting to what your boyfriend is trying to almost gaslight you into.
Redditors say our OP's not overreacting. For Redditors, they say OP sounds like they're dealing with some form of emotional abuse. One Redditor put it in a way that I feel makes the most sense. When you're with someone that makes you feel safe, you don't try to have good days. You just have good days, period. Someone is in pain. They say that they're in pain and are still trying. I don't understand why anyone would try to guilt someone into doing something more through that type of pain. And for me, this is where I might not understand the context of their relationship, but I can see where he's trying to twist something that really is out of our OP's control on her. I can only base this judging by his own words, which was, I'm excited to see you, but I'm upset that you're not doing more, OP. That's how I read or heard all of this coming through. When our OP's just saying, look, I'm in pain. That's it. I'm just in pain. I thought we were having a good day. We were joking around. I can't give you the 110% you're looking for, but I am trying here at least to meet at 60 because right now I'm also inundated with physical pain.
Well, hopefully through the comments she got, she was able to kind of relay to her boyfriend that he needs to chill out and respect when people say they can't do something. That's at the end of the day, really the moral here.
I also want to just put out here really fast, no woman should feel bad that their period pain feels awful. You should never consider yourself as being very sensitive or being a baby just because you're experiencing pain. We all experience pain very differently, and no one should ever shame you for it. Well, let's go on to our next story and see what you think about the refusal to eat from dishes washed in a dishwasher. Am I overreacting for refusing to eat from dishes that have been in the dishwasher? I live with my parents and recently moved houses. We now have a dishwasher. We also own 2 cats who both use their litter box. To scoop the poo out, we have a kind of shovel. Obviously, that shovel gets dirty and we need to clean it. Normally, we would clean it separate from the dishes since we had to wash everything ourselves anyway. However, my parents have now decided to just throw it in the dishwasher along with the dishes already in there. I confronted my mom about this and argued that, for example, we wouldn't put a dirty toilet brush in there. She agreed, but a couple of days later, I found it in the dishwasher again. My dad was home at the time, and so I argued the same thing, but he says the dishwasher is made to clean and that it doesn't matter. Am I right? Is it gross? Or is the dishwasher strong enough to clean those bacteria? Am I overreacting?
Madame, I don't care if that thing was thrown in the fiery pits of Mordor. It's not being washed in the same place as the things I eat with. Well, I don't know the math on that. I mean, logically, my mind tells me, okay, fine. It probably gets up to the temp and gets cleaned like everything else. Right? I mean, that makes logical sense. But in a much more real emotional sense, I'm thinking about it and everything I see now is covered with poo.
I'm just trying to see the world through your poo-filled eyes now.
I don't know if it's clean or not. what I would hasten to say is, nah, I would not have that. That would not be even kind of acceptable. No, OP, you're not overreacting. Cleanliness is important.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and give you the consensus on Reddit. They said not overreacting. Redditors say that the litter contains salmonella, E. coli, and Toxoplasma gondii, among other things. Others pointed out that there's no guarantee that the dishwasher could get hot enough to kill all the germs necessary, and now it's potentially contaminated the machine. One person said it also aerosolized the cat shit, so when the dishwasher vented...
Oh, no.
Some Redditors said this is why they don't like to eat at other people's homes, because you never know what they might do that could either get you sick or is just plain old gross.
I've never heard of this before. Is this a phenomena? Do other people wash the poop scoops in their dishwashers?
I hope that this is not a common thing. Dear Lord, I hope it's not a common thing, because the thing is, it is right. If you're dealing with older dishwashers, there's no guarantee that they can get up to the heat that you need. And the dishwasher is supposed to be for things that you know you're going to be putting in your mouth.
Sure.
Why is it that you would put something that has fecal matter on it in there? And yes, to have it essentially become airborne in your home, it could contaminate your machine. There's no guarantee that even if you bleached it out, that machine will ever be clean again. People could get seriously ill. There's reasons why we clean things separate from the stuff that we eat versus the stuff that we clean our homes with.
Yeah.
So I truly understand it from all Redditors' viewpoints when it comes to just the no. And honestly, if that's something that you feel comfortable with doing in your home, I mean, I'm going to judge you, but it's your life.
It does make you ponder, though.
Well, our OP did give a little update. They said, "Thank you for all of your comments. I just confronted both of my parents again by showing them your comments, and they now realize it's not okay. The poop scooper will no longer be in the dishwasher. But OP, that dishwasher is still contaminated, girl.
Give it a good bleach over."
I hope that would work. Blech. Well, I do wish our OP the best. And let's go to our next story and see what you think about someone refusing to take their allergies seriously. Am I overreacting? Wife refuses to take her allergies seriously, so I kicked her out. Last night, my 33 male wife, 33 female, came home from work and pulled out a container of something I wasn't familiar with, and she sat down to eat. She works at a grocery store, so I normally don't think too much about it. But when I got a whiff of it, it smelled like crab salad. Now for context, wife has a pretty intense allergy to green and red onions, but is fine with yellow and white onions. Unique allergy, right?
Yeah.
Now, in America, we do have ingredients listed on the package, which is required by law. However, companies are allowed to be vague with certain ingredients, and onions are one of those. Normally, if I spot onions listed as an ingredient, it's a hard pass for me. I don't even chance it. My wife, however, doesn't do this. Back to last night, I got up and asked to see the container, which was half gone at this point, and read the ingredient list. Onions, plain as day, were listed towards the top of the ingredients. I asked her if she bothered to read the ingredients, and she said she did, but assumed they were the safe ones. At this point, I grabbed the EpiPen from her purse, which I feel the need to add, but she only started carrying an EpiPen and Benadryl because I badgered her for a couple years about it when we started dating, and kept it close by. I was upset because I used to work in a kitchen, and I know damn well that green onions and seafood are almost inseparable in those salads. I kept a calm demeanor and just watched her. Within a few minutes, she started having a reaction. At first, I wanted to give her the Epi because she had eaten so much, but she refused and said she would just take some Benadryl and lay down on the couch. Eventually, she needed to be given the EpiPen, and I drove her to the ER. Keep in mind, this is taking place at 12 a.m., and I work at 8 a.m. We get to the ER and they admit her. They tell me that she needs to stay overnight for observation because of how severe her reaction is, and I talk to my wife about it. We know the staff here pretty well, and I know she is in good hands, so I check with her to see if she would be okay if I went home to get some sleep before work. She said it would be totally fine. However, as I was leaving, I chose to call her mom and ask if my wife could spend the next couple of days at her house. You see, I was furious with her at this moment because I felt like I am the only one who takes the allergies seriously, and I am not the one who will literally die if I eat the wrong onions. And this isn't the first time she has been careless and ended up needing to go to the hospital because she had a reaction. There have been many times before where she just ate first, asked questions later, and it frustrates me to no end that she doesn't take it seriously enough to take a few moments to read the ingredients and just avoid onions she cannot plainly identify. So, since I wasn't getting through to her and the hospital visits seemed to be ignored as well, I decided that making her stay at her mother's for a few days might send the message. I got home, packed her a suitcase for the next few days, and when I got the call that she was being discharged at 7 this morning, I picked her up and drove her to her mother's house. I told her as I was dropping her off that this wasn't permanent, but I needed a couple days to cool down, and she needed to be monitored anyway since she just got out of the hospital. So this was the best course of action. She cried a lot, begged me to take her home instead, but I refused to budge. Her mom brought her inside, and I told her that I would be blocking my wife's calls for the day while at work, so if there was an emergency, that she would need to get a hold of me. Her mom agreed and told me that this was probably the best idea, since she was also just as frustrated that her daughter seemed to not be taking this seriously. So here I am, at work and feeling like I might be overreacting by kicking her out for the next few days. Did I? The too long don't read? Wife had an allergic reaction because she ignored the ingredients, so I am making her stay with her mom for a few days to teach her a lesson.
Well. Allergies rear their ugly head again.
I hate allergies.
We have several family members and friends that have very severe allergies to things, and we have stated this many times on our channel. Make sure that when we host or do anything, that everything is accounted for. Even Voyse now can't enjoy seafood, certain seafoods.
Shelled seafood, crab, lobster, shrimp.
It's a new allergy that's cropped up in Voyse's life, so we have to be very careful. And I think the worst part to this story is they've gone through several instances where she has not cared, put herself in a precarious position, and then has had to be bailed out by her husband. I don't know where their financials are in life, but having to go to the ER several times can add up. I'm not certain how often they've done that, but enough to where you as a partner are being overwhelmed by not just the financial ramifications of being irresponsible, but the well-being of your partner is now placed in solely your hands. That cannot be a good thing every single time your partner goes out to buy random food, and then you have to worry about them not caring enough about themselves.
Now, let me go ahead and add, because you were saying you didn't know about their financial situations.
Yeah.
There's actually an edit from our OP, and let me read that to you just to clarify that standard. Our OP said, "So I realized after reading a few responses that I might seem a little heartless here, so I want to clear a few things up. I am only blocking her calls during work because it's a double shift, and I need to be fully attentive to my work. And since I didn't get any sleep, it's going to be challenging enough as it is. If there is something serious, her mother can and will call me. Second, I packed her favorite things and am having her favorite dinner sent to her mom's house tonight, so she is well cared for and not just being abandoned. I would never just abandon her, and my frustration comes from a fear of losing her to something as avoidable as an allergic reaction. I also picked up an additional shift for tomorrow to make up for the time she is missing from work, so she won't have to worry about missing hours. I am and always will support her, but this is somewhat of an intervention for her as well."
people think that he's being callous and a non-supportive partner. She's never been held accountable for those actions, and now it's turned into this. In fact, it would be irresponsible of him to just go, well, everything's okay, let's wait till the next one so we're bearing further into financial problems, because he just states it. He also had to pick up an extra shift because of her inability to take care of herself.
Correct.
Just read the ingredients.
The care of yourself should be in your own hands. Your partner, yes, you have your partner there to help be that extra set of eyes, the extra person looking in and seeing from the outside in if there's anything that's potentially wrong. We hope we can catch those cues from each other when we're not feeling well. But I would never put my life in jeopardy on purpose.
Thank goodness he had the presence of mind to, hey, let's get an EpiPen. If that doesn't exist in that moment, she's probably in worse water than just having to spend a couple nights at her mom's house reflecting on how she can be a better contributing factor to her health. Why is that a problem in anyone's mind? He's not abandoning her. He said it clearly. I'm dropping her off at their mother's so that way we can get some space away from each other. I didn't want to make that worse. I lost time at work. You lost time at work. I have to pick up an extra shift. We're paying for another medical bill. Going to the ER is not inexpensive, especially for a lot of folks right now. I'm not certain if you guys have been to an ER in America, but it is something that will financially destroy you.
And if our OP's not in America, it still doesn't matter. They still have bills to pay. If both of them are financially contributing, now it all falls on OP's shoulders.
This is a habit. That's the issue. She hasn't learned from past experiences, and that can be frustrating for any person in a couple. If you're dealing with the same problems and there's nothing being done to prevent them, why should I care more about your health than you do?
I wish I could answer that.
So I get it. He's not saying I'm leaving her and she's left over to her mother's. He's saying, look, we need time to spend apart, because if I can full-heartedly get that. He brings her home and they have an argument that night. Did that change anything?
Or if he leaves to go to work because he's got this double shift and she still needs to be monitored, she'd be left home alone.
Sure.
Who knows what could happen?
I think what he chose to do was probably one of the better decisions. Give her some perspective. Her mother sounds like she's also been dealing with this. I don't know why this OP's wife has continued to not or shirk that responsibility, but at some point you do have to be responsible for your health and the decisions you make within your life. So in my opinion, OP, you're not overreacting.
For Redditors, our OP is not overreacting. Redditors said that they can just imagine how exhausting it is to care for someone that clearly doesn't care for themselves. But maybe they need to put it in a way that OP can understand. That OP's wife not caring shows how much they don't care about what they're doing, not just to themselves, but also to their partner. It's crazy because OP is literally taking extra shifts just to be able to be financially good so that their wife doesn't stress out. If that doesn't show love, I don't know what does. The fact that someone can't see beyond themselves to see the burden that they put on loved ones, that truly baffles me. Well, let's go on to our last story. And this one gave me, I think, a little bit of pause for thought and a little bit of a chuckle too. So for our last story, am I overreacting to this text my boyfriend sent me? Firstly, this came out of nowhere. Then, when he started talking about how I'm immature, I wasn't sure what to do. So I just reiterated what I'm doing with my life. Working full-time and doing a MBA, albeit online. For context, he and I started dating under romantic circumstances. He's not an SD. He looks really young. So I was truly shocked to learn his age. Now I see it's a mistake. So don't heckle me for this. He is older than me by 20 years. I am 25 and he is 45. He owns a restaurant and I do remote admin work at a small startup. After dating for just under a year, he asked me to move in with him as I was stressing about my recent rent increase. I could pay it, but it wrecked my financial planning and it was miserable. I was looking for an out. My rent went from $1,850 to $2,300, not including utilities. He owns his house, so he told me I could live with him if I wanted. He said that I could live here and save up my money, that I can leave whenever I want. No pressure. He invited me. I did not ask nor imply I wanted to move in. I agreed. Horrible mistake. I moved in, and now we're here. He doesn't make me cover any utilities or charge me rent, which I thought was kind of him. I use my work phone for work, but I'm usually lying down. When I have a meeting, I sit up and answer the call. I'm a solid employee, just doing backup admin work. The pay is nice, can't complain. He started saying I need to step it up in life after seeing me leisurely working. I chose this job because I worked on my feet since high school, my undergrad, and a bit of my current MBA. I wanted to pivot to a chill job. I chose this job because it is leisurely. I am working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., whereas he works 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So from his perspective, I'm often asleep or unavailable. Today, he walked downstairs to work and saw me sitting on the couch. I've told him many times I'm working via my phone. He doesn't seem to understand that and makes weird little jabs. Then he sent me these messages. I felt really annoyed because he implies that I am not interested in self-improvement, that I'm immature, I'm arrogant, denies that it's hurtful to say such. By the final slide, I decided to call my mom, who I felt could offer insight. She's 40 years older than me, but understands technology. She said it seems like he's trying to play some kind of game, that I should just ask him why he's asking all of this of me now. He seems to be beating around the bush, which I agree with. So I decided to ask him why he's treating me like this. When he said he's talking to me like an adult outside of text, I exploded inside. Immediately, I felt so angry. He invites me to live with him, then holds it above me. He calls me all sorts of things over text, but then denies that he is saying such. He can't just say what he means. He then doubles down and says he's just worried about my maturity. Because of this and a conversation we had after where he ignored all my concerns, didn't let me speak and bulldozed the entire way, I've decided to move out and find my own place again. He just has zero emotional intelligence. His ex-girlfriend was 50, the other one 55, and his ex-wife was his same age. I thought that meant he wouldn't be acting like this, in the typical way that men who date younger women do. But I was so wrong. He's been talking to me like I'm a child. I have no ground to stand on with him. I can't take it. He's saying that moving out over this is crazy, not based in reality, and that I'm losing a really good chance at stability, that he loves me, and that I shouldn't go, because if I do, I'll just have to go back to paying crazy rent. He recently got me a brand new TV and Wi-Fi, so I do feel badly for wanting to leave even after that. I feel bad for making him stress, but he doesn't seem to care that I'm stressed. Am I overreacting by moving out and ending the relationship? Now, Timstradamus, these are short texts. You can either decide you want to be the OP or you want to be OP's boyfriend.
I'll be the boyfriend.
All right. Then you go ahead and read the gray and I will read the green. Good luck.
Oh, cute. All right. These are all in caps, by the way, but I am not going to be screaming.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
My loss? I'm still in love with you. A lot of things I think you could improve on, but I'm in love with you. And I'm not sure what the blacked out thing is.
So it's not OP's name, but apparently on every one of these text messages from him, he signs his signature.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Like a sign off?
Like a sign off on every single one of his texts.
Old school.
Very.
If you are open to self-improvement, I really could be a beautiful asset to you.
Gross.
You just need to talk to me. It's all your choice. I won't push you into anything, but I could get you to move more forward in life.
Please don't assume I'm interested in failing at life. It's not in the cards for me. Even though you don't see it, I am moving forward. This was really hurtful to say to me. Yes, I sleep a lot, but I get my work done.
Via help from me. I'm on your team. But please don't be arrogant. Life takes a lot of amazing hard work. Take everything in stride, babe. You will get there. But you need people in your camp. I am one of them. I care about you. I will be there for you.
I know you will be. But you're not the only person. I'm already doing a lot. I know you don't understand technology, but it's work. Please just let me live here and save money. That's my goal. I'm not aiming for opening a flagship business or anything. I just want to be set up on a good path.
Nothing I said was hurtful. Pace yourself. I'm on your team. You will be fine. P.S. I don't judge you. I'm just trying to help. If you are open to it, I can push you forward. You just have to open up to me. I would actually love to see you excel above your peers. I'm guessing it means peers.
Yes.
Okay.
Stop assuming I'm not doing that already. Why are you thinking I'm not aiming for that already? That's already the life path I chose. You are doing enough for me by letting me live here. I really appreciate it. I do.
It's your road. I'm on your side, see? You do what you need. I'm not assuming anything on you, see? You're good in my book.
Why are you doing this?
Doing what? Opening up to you like an adult?
I'm not playing games with you. Good night.
I never said that you were playing games. You're good in my book, see? I care about you. Just offering more of a fast track to maturity. You are fine the way you are. I'm not judging you by my standards. ... So, really quickly, he's 45 and she's 25.
Correct.
There's quite a big age gap.
Yes, there is.
What I find funny is she says earlier, before the text started, that she thinks the relationship between an older man and a younger woman goes completely different than this. That it's supposed to be a much more understanding and loving relationship. So she already has learned, because I don't hear anywhere where she's dated other older men, but through other people's experiences, she thinks that this is the way it's supposed to go. Because she's also in here implying that, hey, just let me stay here. Don't bother me. Let me live here, but I don't need to be under your pressure. So she's used to hearing about other people's experiences. Not all relationships are the same. They don't function like that. He's looking at you saying you look like you're lazy. That's what this read to me. Are you being lazy? That's not for me to judge because I don't know you. You say you have a tech job, you're working hard. Okay, cool. But to his eyes, you look like you're just coasting. And for him, that may not work. What you fail to understand is he's not your other friends' relationships that you've heard about.
I think the real problem here is when you accept someone's help, unfortunately, they do have that chance to hold it over your head.
Oh, 100%.
It's why when you do accept things from others, you should always think about it critically. I mean, I've had to learn that just from my family. I don't like to accept things from them readily. A lot of the times there's always that holding me under the thumb feeling, and I do not like that feeling. I imagine that there would be this power play when it comes to ages. Now, is she doing more or less? I can't tell you one way or the other. I know there have been many days where I've worked my work and I've taken it more leisurely, and it's been a nice, easy day. And there have been other days where I've worked very hard. I don't expect for somebody to see that I'm working like a dog and think that just because they don't see me working hard, it doesn't mean that I'm not.
I think a lot of people ran into that problem when COVID hit because a lot of people were seeing their significant other work from home for the first time and they're going, wait, this is all you do? You most of the time you're just sitting there, when in actuality it's not just sitting there. There's a lot that goes on, and your partner doesn't need to prove that they're working. It's not up to you to be their boss at home. That's a critical issue a lot of people ran into during that whole thing. So for this situation, she's doing the right thing. If you don't want to live under that type of scrutiny, then don't live there. You're not married. You don't have children. She said that the job she picked is by design. She wanted to take it leisurely. She wants a slower paced job. I'm all down for people doing that. You don't owe him an explanation as to why you're doing that. If he can accept that out of you, that's not a good thing. So, hey, it's okay that you guys go your separate ways. It doesn't sound like it was like, I want you to do better, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to listen to what your feedback is because I know you can do better. It's almost like that is his daughter, because that's how you would speak to a child that's frustrating you when you're going, look, you're so lazy. Let me help get you mature so that way when you get out in the world, you can do more.
But see, for me, that's insulting.
Sure. That's what she's feeling. She's saying her mother's like, she's beating around the bush. I don't think he's beating around the bush. He's literally telling you that you're not doing enough. That's straightforward stuff. I didn't hear beating around the bush. He's just going, look, I want you to do more because I think you can do more. Because you look like you're being lazy sitting on the couch. Because there's a lot of people that can do most of their job from either a laptop or iPad or a cell phone, life looks a lot different than when he was 20. He's 45. He sounds like he's very much still stuck in the way of, like, if you're not on your feet all the time working, hustling,
then you're not doing anything.
Yeah. That's not today's world. You can still be hustling and sit on your butt. It just sounds like you guys aren't made for each other. I will say this. It does sound like she was under the impression that the relationship would be something she could use to springboard into other things. I don't think that doesn't sound like a relationship that they were looking to be like forever in. Not the way she spoke about it.
I have to say I kind of agree with that. The relationship sounds like more that she's taking than giving, at least based on just from how I read it. He's giving me a place to stay. He's got me these things, and therefore she's starting to feel bad about it. I don't really hear where I go ahead and I contribute this much and I do this in the house, and this is my way of saying thank you for everything that you've done for me. I don't hear any of that. So for me, it sounds like a one-way sort of relationship. However, it doesn't seem like that is something that either of them have placed down or wanted either.
Sure,
based on all of it.
100% sounds like we're both getting something from this relationship.
A weird tit for tat feel.
But now you're going into something that I didn't ask you to go into. I'm here because I want to save up and move on to the next phase of my life, whatever that is. And you have me here because you're getting something, or maybe romantically, physically. I don't know what their arrangement is.
Partnership or just companionship.
And it might be just that. It might not just be because it's a physical thing, but they are both getting something from the arrangement. The problem was now he's starting to get into aspects she didn't want him to be in. It's about being there and just being accepting of my presence. I'm not asking for your opinion on my professional life, but he's going, I'm looking at this as being a relationship. And for her, it's not really a relationship. It doesn't sound like one to me. It sounds like this is a situationship that she's using to springboard into the next part of her life.
But even I would say even the term relationship is very loose here.
Sure. That's what I mean. It's like you're complaining that you're getting a free place to live, but that's what comes with the free place to live. You really are at the
almost mercy.
Yes, of whoever is holding you up. Now, don't get me wrong. Would you love to live in a world where strings aren't attached to things? Of course.
Oh, yes.
But that's not reality.
No.
You should have been contributing in some meaningful factor, because if you said to me, I'm living rent-free and utility-free, the only thing that's popping through my head as a responsible adult is going, so what does it really cost? Because you're not explaining to me the real details of your situation. And if that's what comes from that, where he goes and says, hey, I need you to start doing more because you look like you're being lazy with this opportunity I'm giving you.
If you're also the older gentleman and you're essentially saying, I'm doing this of my own goodwill, but I'm not.
Sure, he's wrong too. That's what I mean is there's that give and the take, and we really don't understand all the aspects, but he's no good in this either. I don't know what it is. I think maybe he was looking at this more as, again, a full relationship
where
that he was going to grow her into, be mature. Right.
But see, I think that's always been my problem when it comes to these age gap relationships. Our OP's 25. She's still a kid.
Oh, 100%.
For me, anybody under 30 is a kid.
Yep.
Not to say that you aren't having and dealing with adult things and responsibilities. I'm just saying you're living more of a fun life and during those periods. Your 20s are supposed to be a lot of fun. You're supposed to experience things anew. It is not such as in your teens when you're dealing with the rules of another. You're branching off into your own rules. It's a different part of just a young life.
I think the thing that hits the hardest for her is she's starting to understand that there's the guilt that comes with not contributing anything is what's going to be the bars to your prison, right? Because even at the end, she's going, there's a TV and a Wi-Fi that he just got me, and I feel really bad because now I'm trying to leave. What? Don't allow yourself to be put into those situations. Contribute in whatever way you have to. I'm not talking about monetarily, and I'm definitely not speaking just, hopefully it's not the physical stuff, but don't allow yourself to be put in a place where you're not contributing, because it will push you into places and situations like this.
Well, go ahead and give me your consensus, and then I can go ahead and give you our Redditor's consensus.
She's asking if she's overreacting to wanting to leave now because of his insistence on their life.
Essentially, yes.
No. You're allowed to live your life the way you want to. Just understand that the way you are living it also gives him, not if right or wrong, gives him the right to critique you all he wants, because it's his home. And if you don't like those rules, you get out of that place. That is how I will always live my life. If you don't want to hear it from someone, you leave. It's their
I
house.
agree with that.
It's their rules, even if it's wrong.
So for our Redditors, they say our OP's not overreacting. Some Redditors said that there are relationships where age gaps works well, but that's not everyone. And many times it fails for the simple reason of the older person using their age and experience as a reason to try and control the other. It was also suggested to OP that they just go ahead and live their life without that, if that is not what makes them happy. Several Redditors pointed out that the key issue often arises when the older person in a relationship struggles with their partner being in a different stage of life. Of course, a younger person being excited about a 21st birthday party might seem childish to someone in their 50s, but that 50-year-old person experienced that excitement and joy. Why try to remove that experience from someone younger? Because they perceive that their young partner has to be more mature. Maturity and wisdom come from time, experience, and sometimes learning by hearing from other people's experiences. However, it shouldn't be used as a caveat in a relationship. I can go ahead and give you this, but you need to act more like that. Those types of relationships are not healthy. And at the same time, OP, learn not to put yourself in those types of, situationships, because that's exactly what they are. It sounds like this boyfriend wanted something very different than what our OP had in mind. But that's why you have real relationships that talk about expectations from both sides. And a lot of the times, Redditors are very right. When you're in a different stage of life, someone who's in their 50s is looking to settle down and enjoy certain things that somebody in their 20s, they still have so many things that they want to enjoy and get excited about. It's sort of a disconnect there. Now, I will say, just to bring it back, because I told you this is kind of a funny sort of post, at least in my opinion, not the severity of the age gap or the controlling, but more of just people's comments to the texts from OP's boyfriend. One comment said, "The guy writes like a barely sentient magic 8-ball." Another one questioned, "Is he signing his name at the end of every text?"
That's some old school stuff.
And OP was like, "I was trying to avoid people noticing that, but yep, the cat's out of the bag." Other commenters said, "Pears."
Pears.
Yeah. "If you're not better than your pears, then you must be bananas."
Wow.
I must say the comments got funnier and funnier. For a lot of people, they were saying, these are texts that I would get from my dad, that I would get from my grandpa. They're not texts that I would get from my partner.
Yeah. They're all in caps. That should be the first. And they're not screaming or saying anything like disgusting at them.
That's just how they write.
Yep. They're literally typing to you in caps.
All those dots, man, they bother me so much. I'm not understanding what the asterisk is supposed to be for. Is C supposed to be his nickname for her?
Maybe.
There's so many questions I have on this. I will never understand all the context to it, but it really irks me when it comes to texts. Regardless, it sounds like, based on what OP put in another post, they want to strategically move out quietly without causing issues with this boyfriend, as it sounds like they're kind of expecting what could be almost the worst case if they tell them that they were trying to leave. It had, individuals in that post questioning why they have to leave in the dead of the night sort of feel.
Sure.
And for a lot of others, they say, look, you don't know how somebody could react, especially if you don't know them for a long period of time. The last thing you want to do is say, "Hey, I'm leaving," and then have something detrimental happen to someone's life.
That's very true. I mean, the good thing for her is she says he works a night shift. So pick any day, have your mom help you out, or a friend, get all the stuff out.
It sounds like the only thing that she has is one table that she really loves from her aunt.
Oh, easy life. Pick a day, get out of there sooner rather than later. The only thing that would be keeping you there is if you wanted to keep stacking your money because it's rent. And if you're willing to put yourself, because there are relationships that are like that, if you're willing to put yourself in there, you only have yourself to blame. You know what this game is. And you're correct. If they had just spoken about expectations, she's never walking into that house.
Never.
Because it sounds like he already had a path. He's like, look, you seem mature, move in.
The feeling that I get here is that he saw someone younger that he's attracted to. And for him, it is all right, we're already possibly having a physical or emotional connection, whichever one it is. Let me do you the favor and come in. And on our OP's perspective, they go, somebody's offering me something that's too good to be true. Why would I not take it?
Sure.
But see, that's the thing. When you're in your 20s and that's your first time experiencing that, that's your first time learning that. That's what makes our OP young. That for me is the things that I worry about with these age gaps, because for me, somebody who's 45 would know what they're doing, and it almost feels predatory.
I'm not certain if I'll go into the predatory part of that, but I will say you are correct as far as the experience gap and not knowing that nothing in life comes free. That is the one lesson everyone has to learn at some point in their life. Nothing is free.
Now, this could be something, and you're very right. It might not be predatory. I mean, for me, it still feels that way, but maybe it's just because of my own experiences with getting things for free. If anything, it sounds like he's had at least 3 different relationships, all with women who were his age or older. And he wanted to switch it up and try somebody that was younger, so this could be a new experience for him.
Or he found someone that he thought he could mold into the other relationships. Maybe those other women were already accomplished in life. You're saying 40s and 50s. Maybe they had already had careers and maybe they were already this far along. And he's going, I can make another younger version of that. If you just follow this path, I've already seen it done. I can help you get there, but you can't push someone to success that they don't want. She already said it. She wants a leisurely life right now. Maybe down the road, she picks it back up. But right now, her life, she just wants to take a step back. And that's completely fine. Just know it doesn't come free. That's what you had to deal with in order to start stacking your bread and hear someone else's opinions that you really weren't interested in hearing. Because if you really had, let's be real, if you really thought that that relationship was going to be something other than it wasn't, you wouldn't have been sitting here complaining that someone says they're trying to make me better. Because in a real relationship, you're allowed to have those type of conversations with each other.
You're not wrong about that. I know you and I have had conversations that have propelled us both forward in what we enjoy doing in life.
We had goals. We had to set them. We had to make sure that we were helping each other climb. That's a relationship. You don't have the same goals. And yes, we are on different pages of life.
Well, I do wish our OP and what appears to be their future ex-boyfriend the best.
Yeah, get out of there safely.
I agree.
If you're nothing in the text had me scared for her safety, but she knows that situation better than we do.
That is very true.
Get out safe. What was that, our last story?
That was our last story.
All right. Not as bad as our first weeks of Am I Overreacting?
I told you, I'm taming it back this week because it's before Christmas.
It's
we
a
don't
week
need.
Before Christmas.
We don't need that type of drama.
Good stories.
Thank you. I enjoyed reading them with you.
I think I'm getting better.
I guess we'll have to see. What do our listeners think about Timstradamus's reading of texts?
You suck.
I enjoy you trying. It's a fun little role play thing that we do. You're always the bad guy.
I'm always a bad guy. Well, as our stories come to a close, don't forget, you see in the world what you carry in your heart.
If you have enjoyed listening to us read and talk about today's stories, please rate, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. We regularly post on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we have our Damas After Dark on Fridays.
And we would also love to thank our Patreons for all the support and love you guys give us.
Yes, thank you so much. Mwah!
Appreciate every single one of y'all.
And we would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I got your part.
Yeah. And remember, if you post it, maybe we'll see it on the internet. Have a good rest of your week, everyone. Catch you back on Monday.